Hey there, Grade 5. Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide today as we explore some of the most amazing, literally mind-blowing secrets of our very own planet. Are you ready to solve a massive mystery about the world around us? Because today, we're talking about Earth's invisible magic blanket and the great climate mystery. So grab your explorer gear, get comfortable, and let's uncover how our incredible planet actually works. Okay, quick question. Did you know that right now, right this very second, you and I are actually living at the very bottom of an invisible ocean of air? It's completely true. Our Earth is wrapped up nice and tight in this magical blanket, and without it, well, life on this planet just wouldn't exist at all. But what exactly is this invisible blanket? What's it made of? And how does it secretly control the world right outside your window? This explainer is produced by Waqas Ahmed Shah, educator, AI agents, and automation builder for educators, traders, and startups, based in Karachi, Pakistan. All right, here's our map of discovery for today. First, we're going to uncover the amazing secrets of Earth's magic blanket. Then, we'll crack the code on the difference between weather and climate. After that, we'll ask the big question, what actually changes the climate? And finally, we'll take a spectacular global tour to see all this stuff in action. Part 1, Earth's invisible magic blanket. So imagine stepping outside your house right now and looking straight up into the sky. You might just see some bright blue, maybe a flock of birds, or some fluffy white clouds, right? But there is an entire unseen world hiding directly above your head. We call this magical blanket the atmosphere. It's basically an enormous ocean of invisible, floating gases that surround our entire planet like a giant bubble. And the crazy part, it's completely full of stuff we can't even see. 78% of this invisible blanket is made of a gas called nitrogen. Then, 21% is oxygen, which is super important because that's exactly what you and I are breathing in every single second. And that tiny remaining 1%, that's just a special mix of other gases. But together, they create the absolute perfect recipe for life on Earth. Now, the atmosphere isn't just one big empty bubble. If we strapped into a rocket ship and blasted straight up, we'd actually climb through 5 totally unique layers. We've got the troposphere right at the bottom, then the stratosphere, followed by the mesosphere, then the thermosphere, and finally, right at the very edge of deep space, the exosphere. Let's take a closer look at a few of these layers to see what makes them so special. So the most crucial point about that very first layer, the troposphere, is that this is our home. This is where we live, breathe, and play. It's where every single rainstorm, every fluffy snowflake, and literally all of our daily weather happens. But here's a crazy fun fact for you. The troposphere is actually incredibly thin. In some places, it's only about 10 kilometers thick. People even say that distance is less than the wingspan of some jumbo jets. It's just this tiny, delicate little strip of air, but it holds all the weather we'll ever experience in our entire lives. Now, if we keep flying our rocket ship higher, we hit our planet's superhero protective shields. First up is the stratosphere. This layer contains something super important called the ozone layer. You can think of the ozone layer as Earth's very own giant bottle of sunscreen. It absorbs the sun's most harmful rays, completely protecting our skin down below. Above that sunscreen layer is the mesosphere. This is the ultimate danger zone for space rocks. When giant fiery meteors come hurtling toward Earth, they hit the thick gases in the mesosphere and actually burn up into harmless little specks of dust before they can ever reach the ground. Pretty heroic, right? And that brings us to the weirdest layer of all, the thermosphere. This is where human-made satellites orbit the Earth, zooming around in the quiet dark. Now get ready for a total mind-bender. In this layer, temperatures can soar to over 1,000 degrees Celsius. I mean, that is scorching, boiling hot. But here is the crazy part. If you were magically floating out there without a spacesuit, it would actually feel freezing cold to your skin. How is that even possible? Well, the invisible gases up there are so incredibly thin and spread so far apart that they can't actually bump into you to transfer their heat. It's a layer of extreme heat that actually feels like an icebox. Wow. And then, after the thermosphere, we hit the exosphere, which is the final, fading outer limit before we step out into deep, dark space. Part 2, Weather versus Climate. All right, now that we know all about the amazing layers of the sky above us, let's come on back down to the ground. Have you ever wondered why some parts of the world are giant, sandy deserts, while other parts are freezing ice caps, or lush green rainforests filled with colorful frogs and birds? Well, it all comes down to the difference between weather and climate. Weather is simply what's happening outside your window right now, today. Think about what you wore when you left the house this morning. Did you need an umbrella because it was raining, maybe a heavy coat because it was snowing, or sunglasses because it was bright and sunny? That is weather. Climate, on the other hand, is the usual pattern of that weather over a very, very long time. Think of climate as everything that is inside your closet all year round. Climate is the long-term boss. It's what completely controls the types of environments, the vegetation, and the amazing wildlife that can survive in a specific area. And climate is incredibly powerful. Let's travel back in time for an amazing fun fact. Millions and millions of years ago, the Earth's climate went through a massive, dramatic shift. Imagine a world that was warm and tropical, suddenly changing. The environment completely flipped upside down, food sources disappeared, and temperatures shifted so wildly that it actually wiped out the dinosaurs. That's right. A single, massive change in climate completely rewrote the history of life on our planet. It just goes to show you exactly how important climate really is to every living thing. Part 3. What changes the climate? So, this brings us to a massive question. Why does one country get endless blankets of freezing snow while another gets endless, sizzling sunshine? Let's crack the code on the 5 major climate shapers. Number 1 is latitude. Think of the equator as the Earth's warm belly. The closer you live to that invisible line around the middle of the planet, the hotter your climate gets. Number 2 is elevation. Think about climbing a massive mountain. Even if you start in a hot jungle at the bottom, the higher up you climb into the sky, the thinner and cooler the air becomes, until you literally reach snow at the very top. Number 3 is ocean and wind currents. Imagine giant invisible rivers of hot and cold water swimming through the oceans and rivers of air swirling in the sky. These currents act like a massive planetary conveyor belt, constantly moving heat all around the globe. Number 4 is closeness to large bodies of water. If you live right next to an enormous ocean, that water acts like a giant temperature regulator. It keeps the land from getting too hot in the summer or too cold in the winter. And number 5 is terrain. This means the actual shape of the land, like gigantic mountain ranges or massive deep forests, which can completely block rain clouds or even create their very own mini-climates. Part 4, the Global Climate Tour. Okay, let's take a couple of these amazing climate shapers, pack our imaginary bags, and see them in action out in the real world. Let's look at the elevation effect in action. Take the city of Karachi. It sits right down by the sea at a very low elevation. And because it's so close to sea level, it has a wonderfully warm, sunny climate. You can practically feel the heat and the sea breeze. But if you travel up into the hills to the beautiful city of Murray, it's a completely different world. Because Murray is built so much higher up in elevation, the air is thinner and cooler. Murray is famous for being delightfully chilly, with tall pine trees and crisp air, even on days when Karachi is absolutely sweating in the heat. Just moving upward toward the sky completely changes the climate. And what about terrain, like massive forests? The incredible sprawling rainforest of Brazil are actually so thick and dense with millions of towering trees that the golden rays of the sun cannot even penetrate through to most of the ground. The forest itself acts as a giant green umbrella, blocking the sun and creating a damp, dark climate on the forest floor that feels almost like nighttime during the middle of the day. The land itself actually shapes the climate around it. Part 5. Quick recap and goodbye. Man, we have learned so much on our explainer adventure today. Let's take a super quick moment to make sure all these amazing world-changing facts stick right in our brains. So here are the ultimate secrets we unlocked today. First, our Earth wears a magnificent 5-layered magic blanket called the atmosphere, filled with heroic ozone and freezing hot layers. Second, weather is simply your daily rain or shine, but climate is the massive, long-term boss that shapes environments and literally outlives dinosaurs. And third, our global climate is completely controlled by 5 epic shapers: latitude, elevation, currents, water, and terrain. Before we wrap up, I have a quick challenge for your brain. Think about this for a second. Can you name a place with a very different climate than Karachi? Maybe somewhere you visited on a family trip or read about in a fascinating book? And using the 5 climate shapers we just learned about, what exactly makes it different? Is it built way higher up in the mountains? Is it closer to the warm equator? Think about it, become a climate detective, and share your awesome ideas with your classmates. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible learning adventure, Grade 5. Keep asking those big questions, keep looking up at the magic blanket in the sky, and keep exploring our amazing world. If you enjoyed discovering the secrets of Earth today, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you don't miss our next explainer. Stay curious, and I'll see you next time.